Here's something almost everyone gets wrong about the quiet ones. When someone you love goes silent after you've hurt them, when they pull back, close the door, give you nothing, you read it as the absence of something. They've checked out. They've stopped caring. They've gone cold. The silence feels like a door being shut in your face, and you stand on the other side of it thinking they've left. But that silence is not empty. It is not the absence of a message. It is, very often, the single loudest thing that person is capable of saying, and almost nobody on the other side of that door knows how to hear it. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly what is happening in the mind of a person who goes quiet when they're hurt. And if that person is you, you may finally have language for something you've never been able to explain to anyone, including yourself. Let's start with the moment the silence begins. Something happens. A comment, a betrayal, a small cruelty, a forgotten promise. It doesn't matter how big. What matters is what happens inside the quiet person in the 3 seconds after. Most people, when hurt, feel the pain and then feel an impulse to push it outward, to say ouch, to argue, to make the other person feel the weight of it. That outward push is normal. It's how most people discharge pain. The quiet person feels the hurt and then feels something close over the top of it. A shudder coming down. The words are there, somewhere, but the route from the feeling to the mouth is suddenly gone. Not chosen away. Gone. And here is the first thing the world misunderstands. This is not them deciding to punish you with silence. This is something happening to them, faster than thought. Psychologists who study how the body responds to threat usually describe 3 reactions: fight, flight, and a third one people forget: freeze. We talk endlessly about the first 2. The third is the one that runs the quiet person. When the hurt lands, their nervous system doesn't gear up to fight and doesn't run, it freezes. The body goes still, the voice goes offline. To the person watching, it looks like cold control. Inside, it is the opposite of control. It is a system that has slammed into a wall and stopped. And this is where the research gets genuinely surprising. The psychologist John Gottman spent decades studying couples, and he gave a name to this exact behavior when it shows up in conflict: stonewalling. The silent partner, the wall. For years, people assumed stonewalling was an act of dominance, a way of withholding, a punishment. But Gottman did something most people never do. He measured what was happening in the body of the person going silent. He tracked their heart rate. What he found rewrites the whole picture. Behind that still, shut down, unreadable folks, the heart is often racing, flooded, overwhelmed, way past the threshold where calm conversation is even neurologically possible. The silence isn't the absence of feeling. The silence is what too much feeling looks like from the outside. The quiet person has not gone cold. They've gone underwater. And you cannot talk while you're drowning. So now you know what the silence is. But that raises a harder question. Why did some people's systems learn to do this, and others didn't? Because going quiet under hurt is not random. It is learned. And usually, it was learned very early and very logically. Picture a child in a home where big emotions were dangerous. Maybe expressing hurt got them mocked. Maybe it got them punished. Maybe it just got them ignored. They cried out, and nothing came back, and a child only has to learn that lesson a few times before the body draws a conclusion. Or maybe the home was a minefield, and the child learned that the only safe move when something went wrong was to become very small, very still, and make no sound at all until the danger passed. For that child, silence was not a flaw. Silence was intelligence. It was the strategy that worked. It kept them safe. The tragedy is only this: the strategy never got updated. The child grew up, the danger changed, the people changed, but the body kept running the old program. So now, as an adult, when someone they love hurts them, the same shudder comes down that came down when they were 8. They are not trying to stonewall their partner. They are a grown person being protected by a frightened child's survival plan that nobody ever told them they were allowed to retire. And here is the part that is genuinely painful and worth sitting with. The silence almost always makes things worse, and the quiet person knows it. From the inside, they are not winning anything. They are standing behind that closed door, flooded, full of words they cannot reach, listening to the person they love grow more hurt and more frightened on the other side. They want to open it. They often cannot. And then a second layer of pain arrives, stacked on the first: shame. Why can't I just speak? Why do I always do this? Why do I push people away exactly when I need them most? The silence that was meant to protect them has now trapped them. It keeps the hurt out, but it also keeps the love out. The door works in both directions. And this is the thing the people who love a quiet person most need to understand. When that person goes silent, they have not stopped caring. The silence is the evidence that they care. You do not freeze over things that don't matter to you. The nervous system doesn't flood for a stranger. It floods for the people whose love is load-bearing. So the wall is not rejection. The wall is how much it mattered. The quiet person is not on the other side of that door because they want to be away from you. They are on the other side of that door because being close to you in the moment of being hurt by you was simply more than their system could hold. So what does the silence actually mean? Once you can finally hear it correctly, it means, I am overwhelmed and I do not have the words yet, and I need you not to read my silence as the end. It means, something hurt me, and the part of me that learned how to handle hurt is very young and very scared. It means, please do not mistake the closed door for an empty room. I am still in here. I am just underwater, and I am trying to find my way back up to you. The quiet ones were never refusing to speak. They were waiting, sometimes their whole lives, for someone to understand that silence was the only language they were ever taught for pain. And the moment they meet a person who can sit patiently outside the door, without panic, without pounding on it, and simply say, I'm still here, take your time, something extraordinary happens. The door slowly has a reason to open.